Hey, welcome back to Canada Laughs Ch.168, SiriusXM, the Todd Shapiro show. Now this is the deal. Because I'm too much of a, like, the truth serum always comes out even when I'm not drunk. And this is a pre-recorded interview. So fuck all the... There's no point in selling what we just did. But it's pre-recorded, and we're going to get right into it because he doesn't have a ton of time, and we're very grateful that he is here. The legendary, it's my third time meeting you, and you probably don't recall the other two.
I'm going to block this one out of my mind, too. Yeah.
And so you should. My wife does the same every day.
Yeah.
Gilbert Gottfried, how are you?
You know, it's funny. The radio show I did right before this one, they said, we're a clean show. And this one starts off with, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Yeah, so... and I'm very offended by that.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Watch your language around me, please.
The world is very hypersensitive, Gilbert Gottfried, and maybe a great way to get into it, of course, in town for JFL 42. We'll speak of the different shows you're at the Royal Theatre and the Queen Elizabeth Theatre tomorrow night, Royal tonight. But this hypersensitive world we're in, are you almost thankful that you started, decades ago as opposed to now?
Oh, my God, yeah. Yeah, now I'd have no chance. See, now I'm just barely clutching on to my career as everyone is getting offended. I'm constantly getting fired from things.
Well, and the infamous one, and you heard it 10,000 times in your life by now for sure, was when you played the Affleck duck and then you went on the tweet and all that stuff. But I mean, really, no one is given the opportunity to fuck up anymore, are we?
No. And it's like, and there's no place to do it anymore. Like, it's kind of like with Michael Richards. He got in all that trouble, and he was at a comedy club. And that you thought, hey, you say whatever you want at a comedy club. What the hell? And even then, it's filmed and it's broadcast on the internet.
So a guy who's been doing it as long as you have and worked with the greats, I think, a Letterman, and Gilbert, it's such an honor for me. I have to tell you, I'm always a super fan. Everywhere you've been, and I've followed your career, and I've just even the parrot I love so much. But the comedy clubs, like I saw you at the in JFL in Montreal, the Nasty Show. So aren't there some platforms where it's kind of okay at least?
Oh yeah, there still are some places, and I think I think part of the reason Donald Trump has become so popular is because people like the idea that he's saying stuff that nobody's supposed to say. Like, they'll get offended, but they'll go, ooh, let's see what he's going to say next.
And the beautiful part about that in politics, the vote is, it's not like you don't really ever that's the one thing you kind of keep secret to yourself. So you could always tell your buddy, hey, I didn't vote for Trump, but yet, I voted for Trump.
Yeah.
The devil you know as opposed to the devil you don't know in politics, correct?
Oh, yes. And that's been our show for today.
We're at a standstill.
It sounded like a good way to wrap up this show. You should have really saved that for later.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Kind of like having the car explode in the middle of the picture.
The climax.
And you go, oh, well, now there's really nothing to do.
I've always been a 2-minute man, so it kind of makes sense.
You can last a full 2 minutes? I envy you.
Well, how long would you last?
Yeah, well, 2 minutes would include dinner and washing up afterwards.
Oh my goodness! The Gilbert Gottfried's amazing colossal podcast. Now there is a platform to really say and do what you want.
Yeah, that's on GilbertGottfried.com and subscribe to it on iTunes or SideshowNetwork.tv.
You must be having a blast with that because no handcuffs, you just go.
Well, sometimes I go in for handcuffs, but
you put Bob Costas in handcuffs, didn't you? Gilbert Gottfried's hanging out with us on the show. Yeah.
Do you know that for a short period of time, I actually was going to be the voice of a character for the Subway commercials.
My goodness.
Yeah, it was years ago. They had the commercials were, and I'm sure you could look anything up on the internet. There were these talking hand shadows. It was like a hand shadow that looked like a face, and it was my voice.
No way.
Yeah, and they had it, for a short period of time, and then basically the decision was we're a lot safer with Jared. And so whoever made that decision, I'm sure is collecting unemployment now.
Well, yeah, everyone has to be very careful of the brands you represent. Even us working with sponsors, we have to be that's it. That's the one trouble being on SiriusXM is we still have sponsors of the program. So while it's an uncensored, this channel anyway is uncensored, I always in the back of my mind going, oh my God, okay, actually we've done a Subway campaign before, or we work with this X company. And in the podcast world, do you work with any sponsors or is it all just you?
Oh, yeah, they're sponsors there. And you start to realize, too, I don't know how many times we have a guest on the show, and the next morning they'll call me up and say, I'm the spokesman for such and such, so could you cut out all those blowjob references I was making on your podcast?
And will you?
Yeah,
you respect them.
Yeah, for them. For me, I see that's the difference between them and me. I'll realize I can get into shitloads of trouble and do it anyway. But a lot of people, I don't want to screw anyone else up.
That's not. I mean, and I think that's the key for longevity in any career, especially in entertainment, is not sort of having this malicious, just quick, hey, we're going to get a quick hit because this company is going to be mad at this person for saying that on Gilbert's podcast, and then the whole world's going to discover Gilbert's podcast. But you'd rather save face and relationships.
Oh, yeah, because then what happens is good luck getting another guest after that.
Yeah. And the guests are just as important to the podcast as the host or as the comedy because they get out to their networks and their networks then driving some traffic.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. So, is that an angle you could see yourself doing forever now as opposed to working, or is the goal to get an HBO series still or something?
I still don't understand podcasts. Still, when I'm doing it, I'm going, this isn't the radio. What am I doing here exactly? And how do you see money out of this?
Do people pay for yours?
No.
No.
So that's a problem.
Yeah. You're doing it wrong. Yeah.
I mean, they can help support it. I think that's patreon.com. It's I think you still have to have TV in clubs and more legitimate things. I think with podcasts, it's kind of like when I came out with a book and I said, how many books by comedians do well? And they could name like about 4 books by comedians that actually sold. And there was Bill Cosby, Seinfeld, Reiser. And, these were the ones that sold. And with podcasts, there's about like 3 that you can actually say are making money.
Rogan, Corolla, a few of them.
Oh, yeah.
So for you, it's just a creative outlet?
I guess. I don't know. I get talked into doing things, and I don't know. But what amazes me is that people come up to me in the street, and they'll say how much they like the podcast, and I'll go, people are listening to this?
Well, I mean, you're Gilbert Gottfried. You do it with your own unique spin, which is openness and genuine. And we don't get that in media a lot. We're blessed. We do it here, but still, we don't do it as much as I think we would. We bite our tongue on many times. I actually talk about like biting my tongue because I still need to get it out, and at least no one understands it that way. but and that's the beauty of it, man. And who knows? Like you have a big following. It's got to feel nice. Are you grateful for that following?
Oh, yeah. Because, you know what? It's such a weird thing. When I walk down the street and I'll see a group of people standing somewhere, the first thing I do is I'll start to dread it. Oh, they're all going to want to take a picture with me. They're all going to want to tell me how great I am and blah, blah. And then if I go by and they're talking amongst themselves, what the hell? Why did they? Wait, maybe I should walk past them again now. Maybe I should walk past them, stop and cough. Maybe I should trip on the sidewalk just so they'll see me there.
We love the attention, but you are a world famous star. What actually is that like? I can't. Locally in Toronto, a few people, hey Todd, they see me at a Leaf game or something, and it's kind of neat. I get a bit anxious for it, but also I realize that I've at least made a difference, good or bad. I've made a difference. For you though, it must happen really everywhere you go. Has that something you've ever been comfortable with?
It's peculiar, but it is like I said, or it's like, when you're riding on a bus or a train and there's an empty seat next to you and you see someone get on and you think, oh God, I hope they don't sit next to me. And then if they walk past you, go, wait, why didn't they sit next to me? What the hell? You start smelling yourself and looking for a pee stain or something. Why they?
What did I do wrong? But that's it's just it's so wild to think that you'll go in a room and everyone's like, that's Gilbert Gottfried. That's Gilbert Gottfried. Do people try and out funny you? Does that happen? Do people try and be funny around you?
Yeah, that's always uncomfortable. But it's amazing to me when I'll see someone who's famous, who knows me, who's really, like I was on the Tonight Show and someone says, hey, Gilbert, and I turn around, it's Harrison Ford. And he's like a big fan. And he told me, he loved me in The Aristocrats and everything. And that was one of those horrible moments. Because here I am talking to Harrison Ford, and he's telling me what a big fan he is. So rather than, being normal for once in my life and saying, why, thank you, and I enjoy all your films, I figure I got to be funny. And that's always the worst. So I shake his hand. I go, thank you. And you are? And to this, and of course, it went over not at all gangbusters. No. And to this day, I have to turn away when there's a Harrison Ford movie on because it brings me back to that moment.
Can you try and reconcile? Maybe that should be the bit on your podcast where Letterman used to always want Oprah on it or something. Maybe Gilbert Gottfried's thing is to get Harrison Ford on there and to apologize to him for that moment, so you can start enjoying his movies again.
Yeah, and he probably forgot about it the exact second he probably wasn't even listening when I said it.
His PR person was like, I was the one who told you who this guy was, and just so you enjoy his work. Hey, you're so known as well, Gilbert Gottfried. Thanks for hanging out with us for your roasts. And I just, I go through the list. It was Hasselhoff, Trump, you name it, you've done it. And then the one I really stands out in my mind, though, is the one with Roseanne Barr, where you do the Rosilla.
Oh, yes.
Do you ever feel, is there ever some guilt that comes with that stuff where you are ruthlessly hilarious?
Well, it's the funny thing about the roast is it's this weird thing that people are saying stuff about you that you'd be totally in your rights to punch them out for saying, but you have to sit there and smile to show you're a good sport. But I remember when I did the Hasselhoff roast, the producer came back to me and said, oh, Pam Anderson just agreed to do the roast at the last second. She didn't want to do it. So go a little easy on her. Which is the worst thing you could say to me, because then I was just doing jokes about her vagina the whole time. And after the roast, everyone's hugging, and she hugs me and whispers in my ear, I hate you.
but did it respectfully and didn't go out. And yeah, it's what a stage to do it and actually hold back some emotions. And not, because I would, like, as a sensitive guy, I think I would want to fight someone after.
Oh yeah. Well, I have that kind of feeling like, if I joke about someone and their whole family dying, then it's brilliant comedy. But if they make fun of the shirt I'm wearing, I go, well, hey, you stepped over the line that time. Come on. It's all fun and games till someone gets hurt.
That sounds balanced to me, doesn't it, Jay Brody?
Definitely fair.
Jay Brody, I love this guy. Work with him. One of the funniest guys, I think, in Canada. Anything for Gilbert?
Yeah, Gilbert, you started comedy when you were 15 years old?
Yes.
Now, most people never become what they're supposed to be so young. Did you ever have a period of time when you were in like your early 20s where you're like, maybe I should be a plumber or maybe I should like start a shoe company or something else?
Well, I'm thinking it more and more now. In fact, ever since I went on this show, I was thinking, I wonder if it's too late to take to study to be a plumber. It would be preferable.
I would rather have shit splatters near my face than talk to these two.
I'd rather be waist deep in a cesspool than doing this show.
Maybe it'll be memorable then this time. I like it. Oh, that makes me very happy. The stand-up, you going out and about and doing this night after night still, is that grueling for you? Would you rather just be kicking it on a hammock?
Yes. Yes. In fact, the worst is right before a show. I'm always there going, and my biggest fantasy is right before a show that the owner of the club or theater will come back and say, oh, we just had a flood or a fire in the place, but here's your check, and you can just go home now. And I always go, oh, that's it. Yeah.
That is your euphoria.
Yeah. It's like after I get off stage, I'm fine. And when I'm on stage, I'm fine because then I've got my adrenaline going. But boy, right before, if they just want to give me, in fact, I want to put this out there. Anyone who wants to hire me and fire me before I do any work, but just give me a check, I'm ready I'll fly across the world for that.
I'm sure you can go get a job somewhere in Japan like that.
Yeah, somehow Japan is not the one that's going to hire me.
Do you still like have people come up to you and be like, I can't believe you said that? Something you did 50, 10. Will you still hear that? Like, haven't we let this go already?
Oh, yeah. It's like, and you know what's funny is like, I think people love to get offended. Yeah. They love to get outraged because I think it makes you a better person. See, it's like, if a tragedy occurs, you could send money to the organization helping it, or you could actually go there and help out, or you could get angry because you heard someone say something about it. And, so if you get angry, you go, oh, see, I'm a good person.
They justify exactly having a voice and opinion. Just go to anyone's Facebook page, and they're all the most altruistic human beings in the world. No, just because you're talking about it doesn't make you like that.
Yeah. It's like, people who won't give a penny to the homeless can feel good about themselves if they hear someone make a bad remark about the homeless and then go, oh, that's horrible. These are people, damn it.
Meanwhile, I've passed by these people my whole life.
I'm not going to give them my leftover tuna salad, but I will get offended.
The side of Gilbert Gottfried that maybe a lot of people wouldn't know. Do you get involved in charities? Are there things you do that you don't talk about a lot that you like to help out and give back for?
Well, I get asked to do. I actually, and this brings together two names. Twice he's asked me to do it. Eric Trump, Donald's son. He does this. He raises money for St. Jude's Hospital. So twice I performed at those events.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what's your relationship with the Trumps then?
It's not like we get on a private jet together.
Okay.
And it's not like I call them at home and just want to shoot the shit.
Hey, how'd your hunting go, Eric? Gilbert, when you were on the Celebrity Apprentice, which is one of my favorite shows, and the reason why it's one of my favorite shows is because the one thing I liked about Donald Trump there is he never judged anyone for their look, only their performance. And I think that that's how you could have a hat sideways, you could wear your plaid shirt as you're wearing today. Yeah. But he just wanted you to perform, and I actually do respect that directness of him. When you're on that show, what's that experience like? Even though it's reality TV, are you really competitive in it?
Well, see, that's the thing. With me, I go on it, and I don't give a fuck. But these other people who get on those shows really think if they sell the most blueberry muffins in their challenge that they're going to be running Trump Enterprises. And I'm thinking, I
went out to the street corner and sold $42,000 worth of granola bars.
Yeah.
I should be in charge.
Yeah. People will be kissing my ass up in that ivory tower.
Do you think Arnold Schwarzenegger will do a good job as a new Celebrity Apprentice boss?
Well, He likes to order people around. He looks down on people weaker than him, and he's Austrian. And when has that ever been a bad thing?
So the show will be a hit.
Yes.
Do you think they'll change the catchphrase, or you'll fire to something else?
Yes. To the final they'll change the show to the final solution.
We will all duplicate everyone here.
Yes.
They'll just start cloning him. Gilbert's hanging out with us, performing in town for JFL. We still have you for a few more minutes, right? Are you in a huge rush? I wanted to ask you about a couple people that you've been really, really, in my opinion, very fortunate to be around, because you're some of the greatest in this world at entertaining us. That is what really, in this fucked up place we live in, man, and the older I get, the way more cynical I become. I appreciate that so much. So thank you. Guys like Stern, Howard Stern. What's Howard like?
He's a case of all the times I've been on there, and it's been a billion. I've been on that show more times than he has, and it's like on the air, it's like explosive, and the chemistry's great and everything. And the minute the mic is off, I'm just kind of looking at my shoes, and he's looking through his papers. And
turns it on.
So, yeah.
Just turns it on when the mic comes on. And you must, as a performer, respect that, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You just get her going. When that mic goes on. How about these Kardashians? Have you hung with the Kardashians ever?
Never. No. What I envy so much about the Kardashians, they've taken, in fact, people have forgotten about Paris Hilton with the Kardashians, but they both make a fortune where they'll walk into a nightclub, and they'll pay the club. Will give them like $100,000 just to be seen walking into the club, and they can walk out a side entrance right afterwards. And that, to me, is the ideal job to have, where they just pay to like look like you're just walking in.
When you're later tonight, when you're at the Royal Theatre, just walk in there.
Yes.
Look at everybody.
Yeah.
You showed up, and just say you did your Kardashian joke.
Yes.
You can't get any backlash for that. We only have a few more minutes. Oh my God, I got to ask you about Jeffrey Ross. There's so many roasts you've done with him. A very talented guy. Another one of these guys who's just so forthright and funny. What's he like?
He's a lot of fun, and he's quick, and doing a roast with him is always. It's like I always feel like I can't get lazy around him at these roasts.
They keep your game at a different level.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That's fun.
That must be important, I guess, to work with people who are truly their best in their field to keep you going. Do you write, like, you continually write new jokes? Are you always still?
I get lazier and lazier. I go up there and go, hey, how about this show Gunsmoke? Yeah. And now I want to do my Richard Whitmark imitation.
We don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
And so old.
And we had
an old reference.
Oh, and Jeff Ross was on my podcast, and he was great on it.
Cool. Yeah, he's I love that guy. Cosby. What?
Why? Have you heard anything?
What would you if you had to sit down on the amazing Colossal podcast that you can find on iTunes? What would you ask Bill Cosby?
Well, I'm sure Bill Cosby would come on the show, and he would go, "Sails of the outside as the cow with the old dog. Oh, he's alone."
That was profound,
Yes,
Bill.
yeah, and I'll go, well, I see you a whole different way now, Bill. Yes.
Do you have favorite comedians?
Yeah. None that most of them are dead.
Oh.
Because this is what happens. The longer you've been doing comedy, the more, like, when I watch a comedian, I'll go, yeah, that was clever. Yeah, okay, that was good. Yeah, okay.
Been done before. It's
Yeah,
all been done.
yeah.
It's all. The only thing not done, I guess, is actually doing those aristocrat jokes in, like, live in person with people.
Yeah. It's kind of like, I'm sure when directors see someone else's film, they go, okay, that shot's totally wrong for this scene, and pull back, and now a close-up. That's why you needed that.
Yeah, because they've seen it before, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's hopefully we don't ever lose too much of what people do to make others laugh, and I know that a lot of people are doing it these days. They're essentially. It's a lot of whoring themselves out to get the attention. And I don't get that, man. I get it by ingenuity and by creativity and by true humor. And there's only those very few, literally like 20 or 30 in the world that can do it consistently. Gilbert Gottfried, you are one of them, man. And I thank you so much for your time. I wish I could talk to you for another hour.
But I am willing to be a whore.
Okay.
if you're going to pay me, I'll be a total whore. I'll be a whore with sores all over my mouth. I'll be that kind of a whore. Anyway, Gilbert Gottfried's amazing Colossal podcast. Hear it on gilbertgottfried.com. Subscribe on iTunes and SideshowNetwork.tv. And I will be a whore. Yes.
My last question, will you follow me on Twitter?
I'm sorry. I wish I could. I wish I could follow you. But
see, that's why that's how you get the respect when they follow you on Twitter.
That's how you know.
It didn't happen. That's my new question with
every
every
guest. If it didn't happen in the last 25 minutes, it's not going to happen on Twitter.
We're done. Not only will he not follow me on Twitter, he will block me on Twitter.
Yes.
Don't forget about his shows in town tonight. If you're in Toronto listening to us on SiriusXM, he's at the Royal Theatre. He's also at the Queen Elizabeth Theatre tomorrow night. That's Gilbert Gottfried. Go to jfl42.com/act/Gilbert-Gottfried. It's that easy. jfl42.com and just search his name and you'll get it.
Hey, what's up? I'm Roddy. Subscribe to our channel. You're going to love it. For the rest of this episode, you got to check out our podcast online on the website. Go check it out. You won't be disappointed.